I wasn't going to review sunscreens this year, but then Clarins asked me to do a sponsored skincare video. So today I'm going to talk about a bunch of skincare products I've been enjoying, including lots of sunscreens. I'm Michelle, skincare, chemistry, and sunscreen nerd. Let's get started. I've been feeling really exhausted by how fast skincare is these days. There are so many new products and brands. By the time I finish trying out a product properly and I'm ready to talk about it, half the time it's discontinued. So I've been gravitating towards brands with a good track record. I trust their process, products where the concept stays the same but they do little updates, and Clarins Double Serum is a really good example of this. I've been seeing people rave about this for the longest time, starting back in the day when I lurked on Makeup Alley. The first version came out in the 80s, this is now generation 9. They keep adding ingredients and improving it, and I extra appreciate that Clarins made the packaging look slightly different. Clarins started as a spa brand, but they actually invest quite a lot in original research. I like to look up how many scientists work for a brand to kind of get a gauge, and it turns out Clarins have over 100 in-house scientists. They specialize in plant extracts. This has 22, 4 have patents. There are also 5 pure actives, including peptides. This visibly smooths wrinkles and reduces pores, firms skin, evens out skin tone. It's really just an anti-aging all-rounder. One of the star ingredients is harringana. It is a retinol alternative, and there's been tons of these in the last 5 years, but I think harringana is one of the more promising. Clarins published a couple of studies. It can act on a lot of the same pathways as retinol, but it's more similar than bakuchiol. And they also did a preliminary study. This doesn't seem to be irritating, so I've been using it with retinoids to try to boost the results, and also on its own when my skin's irritated, so I still get some of those same benefits. They've also been looking at epi-aging. Basically, environmental things like UV, pollution, and drinking will speed up skin aging. They did an interesting identical twin study. They are the same age and they have the same genes, so differences are down to environment. And they found some pretty big differences for aging signs, especially wrinkles. The ingredient that came out of this was giant Provençal reed. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This was chosen out of 800 extracts that they screened. It has really high antioxidant activity and it can soak up environmental damage. Now, my skin has been going through an unbelievably bad few months. It's been inventing brand new ways to break out. There's been lots of texture, giant pores. I think it was the night guard that I've been wearing. It is that time of life for me. And also a brand of chips and a new cleanser. So I cut back my skincare and I slowly added back my tried and true products, but nothing really seemed to change until I added this, and also a red light mask. So it was improvement and then more improvement. My skin looks so much more smooth and glowy, it's much softer, and it's just way less angry. Packaging nerd time, this packaging is super cool. The pump puts out 1 part of the oily lipidic serum from the inside and 2 parts of the hydric watery serum from the outside. There's this extra little tube. A little goes a long way with this. They recommend that you warm it up in your hands and then press it into your skin. It has a moderate scent. The oil part is based on squalane, so it is pretty light. They also have a lighter version, but this one has been great in winter on my combination skin. I've also been trying out a bunch of sunscreens that some of you have recommended. So far, I've only tried them in cold weather, but they've been really great. You guys have really good taste. Now, none of these are Australian. If you're Australian, then you should be using a sunscreen with an AustL number, but talking about these is really complicated, so sucks to be Australian, I guess. I will talk about how we can get that changed soon. I have a post about how you can write to the TGA if you want Australian sunscreen reviews again. Meanwhile, let's talk about the rest of the world. Biore Watery Essence is another legacy product. I finally tried the 2025 version. Again, it's fantastic. The filters are the same as the 2023 one, which was in my last top sunscreens video, but there have been a few changes in the other ingredients. To me, it's a little bit heavier, but not by very much. I had no eye sting. To test this, I smoothed the sunscreen over one eyelid and not the other. Like last time, I did have a little bit of peeling near the edges, which I'm actually quite okay with because this is water resistant. Now, whether or not a sunscreen peels depends on a whole bunch of factors, and some of the main ones are first off the sunscreen itself, so water-resistant ones are more likely to peel. What products you have on underneath, so moisturizers and serums, but also just your face oils. What products you're using on top, how you're applying the sunscreen, and also how you're applying the products on top, and also how long you wait after the sunscreen dries. All my testing was done with this Clio cushion on top. I've reviewed this before, it's still my go-to foundation. And nothing on underneath, apart from my face oils, which haven't been too bad because it is winter. This has alcohol, which is much less of an issue than a lot of skincare advice out there makes it out to be. Alcohol is fine for your skin. It might sting if your skin barrier is compromised, but water does as well. It isn't actually a sign of harm. Now, the packaging, this could really take a tip from Clarins because this is the 2023 version. They are the freaking same. The main way to tell is this tiny panel on the back if it ends with Q or R. The R is the new version. I don't know if they're trying to use up leftover packaging or something, but I feel like this is cruel and unusual punishment. Now, there is also a US version of Biore Watery Essence with the older filters, but it looks quite different, which I am going to give Biore props for because some Asian brands are putting out US versions that look almost exactly the same as the original ones, and these are brands I really like, and it's like, why do you hate me so much and my bad eyesight?
Ow! I need those!
The main difference to look out for is if you squint really hard, then the US version will probably say broad spectrum and the Asian version will have a PA rating. Next up is Geek & Gorgeous Zero Feel. I was really hyped up for this release because Geek & Gorgeous is the brand by Judith from Inky Dakota, and she's been talking about how she's been working on a sunscreen for like the better half of a decade now. So my expectations were sky high, but this actually exceeded them. I was really impressed. This is a European sunscreen. It is very lightweight for a European sunscreen, and the filter list almost looks like it's a Korean sunscreen. But the thing that really blew my mind is how it dries down super matte. I think it is probably the most mattifying sunscreen I have ever tried. Most sunscreens that say they're mattifying will dry down to like the level of shine my skin is after I wash it and I let it re-oil for maybe 15 minutes. But this actually made my skin less shiny than it ever naturally is. Like, my standards for mattifying sunscreens have dropped so low that I forgot mattifying should mean that it makes you more matte. I was so excited I ran out and I told Omar to try this because he is super oily. He was like, "Why are you making me put on sunscreen at night?" He had no opinions. I think I need to make him try this out in hotter weather. I didn't notice much shine returning for like a full day, which is pretty impressive for me even in winter, and it also makes the makeup that I put on top more matte as well. I think it's the silica and starch. Starch is like my favorite ingredient for mattifying, but those are pretty common, so I don't know what the magic is here. Probably the fact that products are more than the sum of their parts. Like all the scientists say, imagine that, scientists being right.
I never built an amnesianator. I think I'd remember building something like that.
There's no eye sting for me and no pilling issues. It also has a UVA protection of over 30, which is really high, and it is 40 minutes water resistant, although I probably wouldn't recommend something this lightweight for swimming. Omi is a new brand for me. They are Japanese and they have a bunch of sunscreens. This one is, I think, their most popular one. It's the Sunbears Active Protect Milk. This is water resistant and is based on silicone, and it reminds me of those silicone-y fluid sunscreens that a lot of Western brands have that have a shaky thing in them. This does have a shaky thing. Those ones are usually pretty runny, and this is really runny. My notes for testing this were literally like, too liquid, really liquidy and silicone-y, messy on hand. And normally that would be a deal breaker for me because my hand is small and I am too unco to deal with that level of runniness. But it looks so nice after it dries down. It is really lovely and like a good level of matte. There's a very slight white cast on me, but it's not really noticeable after it dries down. I had no eye sting and no pilling. This does say it's for outdoor use. I haven't really tried any level of activity or heat with this, but it is very water resistant according to Japanese standards. The scent reminds me a bit of gummy bears, but I might be influenced by the fact that it has a bear on it. It says it's meant to be grapefruit. House of Her is another new brand for me. I'm sorry, but I can't read that brand name without thinking of Chingy, which is great because those were good times. This has really become like a Michelle shows her age video. This is their Weightless Sun Fluid, and I've seen so many people rave about how great this is for oily skin. This is a Korean sunscreen produced by Cosmetic, although the influencer who started this is Indonesian. And this sunscreen is like the perfect level of fluid for me when it comes out. It's like maybe very slightly thicker than La Roche-Posay's old invisible fluid. There's no noticeable eye sting or fragrance for me. I had no pilling when I patted on my makeup normally, but it pilled when I did my extreme pilling test, which is where I literally drag my finger back and forth really hard. So I think this probably will pill for some people, but for me, this is very good. This is pretty matte on me after it dries down. It's not as matte as the Zero Feel, but it is a good level of matte. It is another one that I feel like I probably need to try in hotter weather and then report back. Here is a sunscreen related product that isn't sunscreen, UV cameras. These have gotten really cheap now. Back when I bought this one about 4 years ago, it cost $200 and I felt like it just wasn't really worth it for regular people. But now they are down to like maybe 30 Australian dollars, so hooray for progress. Here's a cheap one I bought recently and it is lighter and the quality is pretty similar to my older one. Now some caveats, with these you cannot check the SPF of a product unless it has SPF 0. Anything beyond about SPF looks the same, you can't compare products because it's only checking a narrow band of UVA, you can't see microscopic holes. So any of those UV videos where you see spray sunscreen companies like proving that their products work, those are BS. But what these are really good for is checking if you've skipped a spot. I've been to lots of events where they have UV cameras and most people have skipped spots. It is really hard to tell without a UV camera or a product that has strong white cast. I have gotten really good now with face lotions and it's because I've been practicing with feedback from a UV camera. I basically don't skip any spots. Sticks, on the other hand, are really prone to skip spots. When I was testing them for my recent stick video, I had so many holes even though I was seeing where I applied with a UV camera in between. I think it's because they're hard, unlike your fingers, and you don't have that extra feedback from like feeling your finger touch your skin. So having a UV camera is really useful if you use sticks. Yes, there are a couple of sticks that seem to apply thickly enough to be effective. If you have kids, you can maybe even turn this into a game and help encourage them to apply sunscreen. Hooray for good tech innovation. Dermal Therapy Lip Balm. This has been my go-to lip balm for a really long time and I don't think I've ever talked about this properly. Dermal Therapy are an Australian brand. They are called Flexitol in the US. Apparently there was already a brand with a similar name there. And the thing that stands out the most to me with them is like how extra they are about their clinical testing. I love seeing clinical testing. I love graphs. It has a whole bunch of really moisturizing ingredients that just work super well for my lips. Petroleum jelly and lanolin are the two main ones. There is also urea. There is manuka honey in this, but I'm not really sure it's doing that much. I had pretty similar results with the pawpaw version. Now with lip balms, I am a hater of menthol. I don't think there's anything like super wrong with it unless you're allergic, but I like to use lip balm at night before I go to bed, and if it's tingly, then it just really wakes me up and I can't sleep. So if you're like me, be warned that a whole bunch of Dermal Therapy's lip balms have menthol. Double check before you buy any. They also have an overnight lip product, and I really wanted to love it, but it just doesn't work as well as this for me. I think maybe they were trying to go like a bit clean beauty there. They took out the petroleum jelly and the lanolin, and it turns out my lips love dirty beauty. My brain does as well. If you're new here, I have a video debunking clean beauty. Mecca Crystal Retinal is another product that I have loved for the longest time and I just never really got around to talking about it, although I did recently do a sponsored Instagram post. But I have loved this since I tried this 5 years ago. It was the product that really sold me on the idea of Retinal. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you might know about all my struggles with retinoids. Tretinoin is the prescription drug version, and I love it, but my skin just freaks out. I managed to build up to using it every day, but it took me like 2 years or something ridiculous. It was like just inching it up really slowly. And then once my skin got used to it, they had supply issues, so I was back to square one and I haven't been able to use it without my skin peeling at least a little bit. Like I just can't build up to it. Different Gel I also really wanted to love. It is like the over-the-counter version, so you don't need to get a prescription. But it's been pretty similar. It's like maybe thicker, but somehow more superficial peeling. And Retinal has also been hit and miss with me with irritation. But Retinal is great because it is really unstable. And that means formulators are forced to encapsulate it to protect it. Basically, they wrap it up in some sort of protective shell. And then after you put it on your skin, it'll come out and become active. And this also has the side effect of making it much more gentle. Medik8 were one of the first brands to come out with like a strong Retinal product. They encapsulate it in cyclodextrin, which is like the crystal part of the name. Cyclodextrin is basically a ring of sugar molecules that's oily on the inside and water-soluble on the outside. I have a really soft spot for cyclodextrins because I did a summer research project on them where I was encapsulating steroids inside them. After you apply this on your skin, the Retinal comes out of the donut. I think it actually might be enzymes chew up the donut around it, and then that releases the Retinal. This takes a little bit of time, so it is like a time release or a slow release effect. You're not like flooding your skin with a whole bunch of retinol straight away. This also has some carrot oil in it, which has antioxidants. That keeps them more stable and probably also helps with irritation. The base is also really moisturizing. But the thing I think I love the most about this is that they have a whole bunch of different strengths, so you can step up and step down. The 6 is usually recommended for people who've used retinoids before, but for me, even the 24 doesn't make me peel much at all. This smells like spicy vanilla, it is really yellow, and I haven't actually tried this, but when I met Daniel Isaacs a while back, he's their director of research, he told me that if you get yellow pillowcase stains, then you can just put them in the sun and the UV will break it down. Next is the Mecca Cosmetica Clean Slate Gel Cleanser. Now, having a good cleanser is something that I tend to really take for granted until I try one that my skin hates, and then I am like scrambling and digging through all my products to try to find one that I know is safe. And the Mecca Cosmetica is one of my go-tos. Mecca is one of Australia's biggest beauty retailers, and almost all the skincare I've tried from their house brand has just been fantastic. This is the old packaging, but their website tells me that the insides are the same. Thank you so much. It is so considerate to have that out explicitly, and also really considerate to not get rid of such a good product. This is really hydrating, there's lots of glycerin and a mix of gentle surfactants. It also has a bunch of soothing ingredients like allantoin and centella, and interestingly this is actually made in Korea, which explains the centella. But I think it also explains how this cleanses really well, but it's also super gentle, it doesn't strip, and it foams on the low end, but it is a reasonable amount. It's really not stripping, and it's been fine at removing my makeup. This has caprolol salicylic acid. This is a cool ingredient that I don't really hear that much about. It's also called lipohydroxy acid, or LHA. It's basically salicylic acid with a long fatty chain on it. So it's more oil soluble and it's meant to be even better for clearing pores. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me more product recommendations. Links to everything are in the description. More videos are popping up around me. Thank you so much to Clarins for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time for more beauty nerdery.